How you doing? You look good. Okay, we're off to the races. Well, figuratively speaking. And we do have a topic here, which is not exactly a topic, it's kind of a question. Well, no, it's not really a question either. It's kind of a curiosity or one of those go around in your head things about, well, it's not really that either. I could suppose, and that was a neat one. Let's try that one again. I could suppose that if you had 3 or 4 people going through the twin flame connection, at some point they might reach this point where their mind might conglomerate and they may get around to reaching this kind of confusion that they've been talking to me about. And they've been coming up with this time after time after time. Is it relationship, then union? Or is it union evolving into a relationship? Oh, now I can see that kind of stirred the pot a little bit, and some of the juices are flowing. And you know me, when it comes to twin flames, I know absolutely nothing. Well, figuratively speaking. And I recall, kind of funny before I get into this, because I've had about 6 or 7 people get a hold of me in the last little while, and they've wanted me to kind of give them my thoughts on this particular kind of a topic, because they've reached a point in their spiritual process where this theme that everybody seems to be, and a lot of people seem to be teaching, that you get yourself into a twin flame relationship where you have yourself a twin flame connection and you get into a twin flame relationship, and then the sole purpose after that is to work towards union. And some people are saying to me, Mel, this doesn't feel right anymore. There's something not kosher here. And they say to me, well, we can go up on YouTube and we can take a look around, and you can see people doing workshops, writing books, doing seminars and webinars about, how to get your twin flame relationship to union. And it's not feeling right. Something's amiss here. And since, Mel, you're pretty good at stirring up the pot and raising a little chicanery from time to time, maybe I would consider giving it a go-round kind of thing. So I thought about it and I said, yeah, I can do that. But before that, just to kind of, perhaps open up your mind a little bit. Excuse me, I want to have a little sip here. Tea. No more coffee. I'd like everybody to kind of recall when I did a video, I think about a week or so back, and I kind of invited people to go back in their memory and recall when their heart center opened. And usually there was another person involved. And I made the suggestion to them, have you ever considered the possibility that the love that you so intensely expressed for this other person was actually intended for you and not the other person at all? And that the only reason the other person showed up to evoke that feeling of love within you was because you had an innate core belief system that you needed to have someone in your life to express love or unconditional love or any kind of love. And it's a belief system that has been pounded into humanity, especially into women, for thousands of years. And it also applies to men. Well, I got to tell you something, folks. I got a lot of interesting comments from a lot of interesting people who really said to me, Mel, you really evoked some thought-provoking thinking in me when you made that statement. And that was the idea. The idea here is this is, and I've been saying this for a long period of time on my YouTube channel, the twin flame concept has become very, very boxed in. And it's been boxed in by a few people who perceive it, and they've got a very narrow vision of what encompasses the twin flame process. they don't take into consideration that they're going through a process of evolution or spiritual growth or spiritual expansion of knowledge. And this is what creates the situation that we have, because you have people out there now. And again, I want to emphasize here, everybody, I'm not criticizing, I'm not judging, okay? And I'm not, everyone's on their own journey kind of thing, and I'm trying to spoil it. I'm giving information for your perusal. You can accept it, reject it, or simply throw it out the window. It's your choice. However, having said that, all right, one of the comments that I recently made in a video, and I've done it over several videos, is that when you meet someone and you have this connection, inevitably what happens, as per normal at this particular point in time, you Google it and you end up with the twin flame label. And what happens is, inevitably, you're going to do what everybody else does. You're going to call it a twin flame relationship. And then you're going to go to some kind of group. A lot of times it's a Facebook group or some other group that's labeled twin flame. And that's all you're going to hear. The conversation is all about twin flames and twin flame relationship, or soulmates and soulmates relationship. And what happens is you take on the belief systems of all of those scenarios. And ultimately, you're going to end up in the situation where my twin flame and I are having problems, but hopefully someday we're going to come to union. Or I'm going to a big workshop that so-and-so is putting on in Toronto, and they're going to help me to bring my twin flame relationship into union. And you're paying big bucks for some of this shit that you're buying. Of course, I do it for free. Okay? But because I do it for free, nobody wants to listen. I know there's a lot of you listen, I'm just kidding. And what happens is this, and I want to kind of now get into it, literally. All right, but I'd like to set things up. Okay? Oh, and I wanted to mention here, a couple of people have asked me, not a couple of people, over the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, I had a little accident one time and I chipped my tooth. And there's a little chip in my tooth, if you want, or you can take a close-up and you can see a little chip in my tooth. So occasionally what happens when I'm speaking with my wonderful voice, I whistle through the chip, okay? And I hope you can grin and bear it, because, I mean, if it's the only reason you can come to my video and make a comment that I whistle a little bit sometimes through my tooth that's chipped, which most people can figure out on their own without a lot of trouble, I would appreciate it if we stopped doing that, okay? I've had enough people tell me that I do a little whistle occasionally, and so now I do it on purpose just to annoy some people. So that qualifies it. I hope everybody's happy with that. Okay, now, here is the idea. The twin flame relationship, and then we're going to take it to union. Now, I want to go back, and I want to refer, and I want to give you some information, and then I'd like everybody just kind of roll it around in your head, think about it, and then think about what's being presented out there in the popular commodity of my twin flame relationship, and we're being taught or we're getting information on how to take it to union, all right? Because I'm not going to tell you that at all. What I'm going to tell you is this. I would like you to go back in your memory, some of you heard me use that term before, and I'd like you to remember when you first made the connection with that person. Now, and you went in to that euphoric, what I termed and coined many years ago, the bubble love phase, and I'd like you to recall what happened. There was a difference that took place. Now, and I must also add here that this doesn't necessarily require another person. There are people on this planet who don't have a deeply core embedded belief system that they need another person to experience love, all right, that's as deeply embedded in other people, so they don't have to have that person show up. They can do this on their own. They can actually have this same type of thing that I'm going to describe all by themselves, believe it or not. So when you have this mystical bubble love state, what happens? Everything is wonderful. Everything is beautiful. You're joined at the hip. The communication is effortless. The telepathic communication is effortless. The sex, in many cases, or the sexual expression, is euphoric. the body orgasms are intense, and the mystical bliss of the honeymoon goes on and on and on until inevitably what happens is the two or the one has to come down. Down to what? Down to where they were before they went in to union. Now, does that come as a surprise? This cock and bull mania that's being spread amongst the spiritual community, that you have to be in a twin flame relationship and then take it to union, is nothing but bullshit. Because in reality, when you made the connection with the other person, because you had that core belief system, you needed someone in your life to experience love, you did. You immediately, in the connection in varying degrees of intensity based on the needs of the individual, went into what's called union with the other person. With the other person. And not necessarily did the other person go into union the same as you. Sometimes, and a lot of times, it happens with the two people at the same time. And usually the female is much more intense than the male when they go into this union. What is the union? The union is that euphoric stage of consciousness that I talked about, and they're there, their bodily function, they're joined at the hip, they can actually slide and blend and meld and into each other. This, folks, is union. It is union, coined by Melvinator, the bubble love phase. So why is it so many of you are busting your ass to get from a twin flame relationship to union when you've already been there? Explain that to me, if you will. So if what I'm saying makes any sense at all, then a whole lot of you are spending a whole lot of money and spending a whole lot of time. You're in the ballpark, but you're on the wrong base. Or you're sitting in the church, but you forgot to pick the right pew. Pew. Or is that few? It's pew, is it? Or few? No, it's pew. How do you spell that? Pew. P-H-E-W? Pew? No, that's the wrong pew. That's what you do after somebody farted, you go pew. Yeah, that's the wrong pew. Anyway, okay. Anyway, I love my sense of humor. Isn't it wicked? I mean, I just pop it in anywhere at any time, catches you with your pants right up around your ankles. I mean, it's just hilarious. I love it. I love me. I mean, who else is going to love me if I don't love me? I'm in union with myself. I've been for years. And I love it. You should try it sometime. Anyways, as I was saying. So when you come back down, you don't come back to where you were before. You are a little wee bit, tiny little itty bitty higher than where you were before. And this is where it all starts. And some people say, well, why if whomever, whatever, that nebulosity, creator, God, Buddha, Huma, whatever, why does it, whom, hither, or why do they do that to us? They didn't. We're doing it to ourselves. Let me make that point, okay? When two people come together, initially in the beginning and go into union, alias the bubble phase, they have arranged that themselves. This is not done by God or some creator or some nebulous master teacher or some set of twin flames on YouTube that process it into initiation or some other kakapu ritual bullshit that they put up. This was instrumented by you for the purposes of doing it. And you say, well, I didn't do it consciously. No, you didn't do it consciously. You did it from your higher self, your soul self, your oversoul self, whatever label you want to attach to it. because you had these core belief systems that needed to be expressed, and it was the only way it could be done. So, and it's been my experience that if you want to have a hamburger, for example, and you go to a hamburger joint, what you want to do is you want to have the experience of tasting the hamburger, right? So you buy one, and you don't like it. So the next time you come back, you buy a different hamburger, one that you like. It's about getting exposure or getting the experience itself to find out if you have something to shoot for. So when you go into union, right off the bat, union happens initially in the beginning, either by yourself or with another person. And the two people don't need to be equal into the intensity of the bubble love phase that they're in, the union, depending upon their character, personality, where they come from on the planet, and you arranged all of this, literally. So don't sit there crying about, oh, I don't like it, it's too challenging, it's too this, it's too that. You did it. No one did it for you. You arranged it. You created it yourself. Why? Because that's what the majority of the people or the souls are on this planet for at this time. And I don't care where you are in the spiritual community, because you came for this friggin' event right now. That's why you're here. That's why there's millions of us here at this particular point in time, to have exactly this or similar experience. And we have to experience it, because let me tell you something else that a lot of people haven't caught on to yet. That when you go into the bubble love or the union phase that I'm talking about, you're in a different state of consciousness. And how many would make a comment right now that when you were in the bubble love phase, you were in some kind of really something unique, special, exciting, stimulating state of consciousness that just had your shorts in a knot all the time? You know what that was besides a state of union? Here it comes. Pay attention. The Ascension state of consciousness. The Ascension state of consciousness manifest in three-dimensional reality. And you thought it was just about him or her. You see how really ignorant and illiterate we really are? I didn't know any of this either. And we think we're so damn smart on this planet. And we're so naive when it comes to real knowledge and experience. It's incredible. It truly is. I got to be one of the dumbest schmucks on this planet. Because the more I learn, the less I know I know. Isn't that amazing? So you come back down. Remember, I said you achieve the ascension state of consciousness, and for a period of time, you're in union. You're in union with the other person. So, but the ultimate goal here is not to be in union with the other person at all, but to be able to go into union by yourself, for yourself, to achieve it yourself. But you had to have the other person, because you had a core belief system that in order for you to experience love, you had to have another person in your consciousness to be aware of it, to experience it. But now some of you discover you can do it on your own. When I began what most of you are going through now, 35 years ago, did you get that? 35 years ago, I went into union all by myself for almost 2 years, and I stayed there. And I don't have a clue what was going on, but I know now, because when I think back to when I went into the bubble love phase all by myself, and I had body orgasms coming out of my fingers, and I had finger orgasms coming out of my body, and I had heart-gasms, and I had hip-gasms, and I had gasms everywhere. I was in that ascended state of consciousness, and I stayed there for almost 2 years. But you know what? I had to come back down because I needed to do it again and release, and there's the key here. Here's the key. Pay attention. To release all of the impediments that would prevent me from getting there individually, and with someone else. So let's get twinny now, okay? Now we'll get down to the Twinkie information that all of you want to hear. Most of you anyways, I'll rattle your chairs a little bit. You know, I just can't wait. I know I'm going to get the comment of, there's Mel again, you know, being, you know, whatever, kind of, it's just, I don't know why you keep bother doing that. You know, if you don't have something good to say, don't say frig all. All right? It's that simple. I got lots of good things to say, and I say it the way I feel it. And I'm going to continue to do that. So anyways, when you come back down, I do love you all. I truly do. I don't have to like you, but I do love you all. When you come back down, especially in the two people aspect, what happens then is the issues, the tandems, the arguing, the fighting, the button pushing, the challenges, everything goes up, the merely, the gnashing of the teeth, whatever. And some of you simply give up and go home. All right? Or the situation is not beneficial, the person is a drug addict or a narcissist or an abuser. Nobody's asking you to stay in that kind of a connection. And you shouldn't. But here's another thing that goes on. We got some really, really intense people out there who pontificate. When you meet your twin flame, you can only have one. Oh, spare me the bullshit. I mean, how much longer are they going to spout that crap out there in the twin flame community? You can only have one. And you've got some people who will come up and they'll defend those belief systems to the bitter end. And they'll sanctify and qualify and verify, and they'll dig up everything for 300 years going backward to validate their belief system that they're just terrified to open their mind to. You can only have one. And I've seen people stay in misery and agony and in these detrimental situations that they should have let go of, which was the purpose in the first place to do, and they didn't do it because they came across an illogical belief system that locked them in to a belief system. It's my twin flame, I have to be there. Poppycock. The energies of experience are important. So now, you've experienced union with this other person, or you've experienced union with yourself, and now you come down and your buttons are getting pushed, or his or her buttons are getting pushed. Well, who better qualified to do it? Because I'll tell you something that I've learned about people, and this probably will rub a few people the wrong way. Most of you won't do it. You know you've got things in you, or you're aware of, all right, that you need to fix or change or modify, or you know there are things that in you that have been put into you as part of your personality and they're not that positive. But you don't want to do anything about it. Really. And I can assure you one damn thing for sure. When that other person comes into your life called the twin flame after the union phase comes down, he or she is going to hit your buttons, because one thing I've learned about humanity, we don't like to do anything unless we're backed into a corner and someone is hitting us on the head with a stick before we'll actually make deep core personal changes that are necessary for our own growth. And don't tell me otherwise. Do not tell me otherwise, because it's the truth. I see this every day. Every day I see people. And then when they get in this twin flame connection, they come back down from the union. They say, what happened, Mel? It was so beautiful. It was so wonderful. And now it's like he's doing this to me and I'm doing that to him. It's just a big crop of shit. Oh, give me a break. Grow up. Spiritual growth is about evolution. Evolution waits for no ones and crybabies. It's a process. This is not the love boat. Is that thing sitting around or somebody finally sink that stupid thing? In any case, this is what's going on. And you can see I'm getting very passionate in this video. It's about time I did. And if my energy upsets you, take a break. Come back next week. But I'm going to get it out anyways because it needs to be said. That's my personal feeling and conviction. Otherwise, I wouldn't be booming like I am here today. So if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Out of my kitchen anyways. So when you come together like this, and you experience the union of two, then what has to happen is you have to experience the union of one. The union of one. How do you like that expression, the union of one? You've experienced the union of two, so you can experience the union of one. And what is union of one? Union is about you growing in personality, maturity. That's a big word with a lot of adults, maturity. Do you know what I know about most people who are adults? They're still kids. They never really matured. They never acquired authenticity. They never required responsibility. A lot of adults don't take responsibility for anything that they do or anything that they need to do. And I will tell you one thing, when you have the twin flame connection, you're going to take responsibility for it. You're going to have to face the issues that you've been in denial or won't face because the pressure upon you via this other person, which you arranged yourself at a higher level, is going to be incredible. And if you don't do it the first time, you're going to do it the second time. And I got another surprise for you. If you don't do it in this lifetime, guess what? You're going to come back and do it again until you get it right. How's that for preaching? Mel's University, the School of Hard Knocks. This is the place, baby. This is the place. I like that expression. Baby. Where did that come from? All right. Babies do grow up, hopefully. Anyways, I'm having fun. I don't know if you are. But, so this happens, and now you're into the union of one. The union of one dictates that you must evolve to get back to that state that you experienced that was necessitated by having another person because of your core belief system. So now you're going through it. The other person is irrelevant. That he or she could be there or could be not. Or it could be replaced by another person down the road who, because it didn't get completed with that first one, you need another one to do it with again. And this would be up a little bit because you moved up in level. So this person would move up in level and can still push the same buttons that are left that didn't get done before, you see. So you're on the journey of one. The union of one. So as you're doing this and you're moving on the journey of one, the union of one up, what's happening to you? Your personality is going through the changes. You're dealing with the issues and challenges that are coming up. And finally, you reach a state of mentality where your mental body is no longer having conniption fits and it's becoming mellow. Mellow yellow. It's calming down and realizing it's not the boss anymore. It's a participant in the union of one. So as you move into the higher realms of the union of one, something magical happens. You begin to open the 12 chakra system all the knobs and buttons and gizmos start to activate. And you begin to experience dimensions and states of consciousness that are different. So what does it require to be able to experience those dimensions and levels of consciousness and go through them successfully? Pay attention, here it comes. Remember the state of consciousness that you needed, that I said you needed to acquire to ascend? Guess what? That same level of consciousness is what you need to be able to express, live, experience in these dimensions. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, as many of you like to call it. All good with numbers, but you're very good, lousy with details about the experience in itself. I know what I'm talking about because I've experienced it. There are others out there who are the same. They've experienced it also. I just talk better than most of them do. I say the words for them. I'm not saying the words for me. I'm saying the words for them that can't say it, because I'm a real mouthpiece. I'm charming, but I'm a mouthpiece. It's on my resume. And as many of you know, I'm not here to be popular, so I don't give a shit what you think. I only care if you get to be one and have union with yourself. That's all I care about. So I give impertinent information. I like that. Impertinent, you're right. And sometimes it's very impertinent. Okay, but pertinent information to get you there. All right. So, and usually sometimes when I get on a flow, I say all right quite a lot. If you have a problem with me saying all right, that's all right. I get it. If nothing else in the video resonated with you, you can always have something to pick on. That I have a chip in my tooth and I whistle and I say all right too much. Geez, some people are really nitty, aren't they? Got nothing better to do, go and pick my nose. Or go and pick your own nose. Or pick your friend's nose. It's picky people. Got no time for it. Anyway, as I was saying, as you're on the journey of the union of one, the 12 chakra session opens, dimensions are beginning to experience, and you're very, very slowly moving back up to what? You're moving back up to that mystical state of consciousness that you experienced in the initial union with that particular person. So suddenly you're not getting now to the point, well, it was never really all about that person in the first place, was it, Mel? Oh, geez, here we go. Somebody got it. Holy shit, we got a happening going on. Can you repeat that again? Yeah, I said, Mel, it was never about that person in the first place. It was always about me. Crap. We got a happening. We got a happening. Wow, that was a doozy, wasn't it, eh? I bet you some people really had to swallow that one twice. It was never about that person in the first place. It was always about me. Oh, geez. Wow. I really am unique. I really have exciting things going on within me. I am moving forward in the evolutionary process. I don't need another person to fulfill me and make me happy. I can go to ascension states of consciousness and experience these dimensions all by myself. I don't need anyone else. No shit. Happy days are here again. So as you move up higher and higher in vibration, and you attain little blurps or bleeps of that ascended state of consciousness, and some of you have mentioned before that you experience that sometime with another person, or you experience it with yourself, you feel this short little period of bubble of phase, okay? And then it seems to disappear, and you say, well, why did that happen? Why is it only a short period and disappear? Because of something. Look, you need to understand something, and this is important. So many of you take the body physical for granted. you never come to the realization that as you go up in vibration and attainment of consciousness, the body physical is the last piece that goes with you. And care and maintenance of the body is another video that I'm going to do here very shortly on people who know they're going through the ascension process and are having a union with one and perhaps a union with another. Care and maintenance of the body is a religion, literally, you have to create for yourself and commit to it. If you don't got the body, you ain't going to ascend. If you don't got the body, you can't handle the energy of one, union with yourself, and two, let alone union with another, which multifolds the energy even more so. And what about if you have a connection with one, two, or three at the same time, and you all go into a higher state of consciousness? How long do you think your body's going to last? Your nervous system will be shot in less than a few hours? Take care of the body. It is the vehicle of expression. And you can see, just by the way I talk and walk, that I take care of mine. I didn't always do that, but I was lucky. I was lucky. I had Nicole's input and her knowledge of diet changes and everything else, and she put me on a program. And at 76, I can tell you something, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and even in a lot of cases physically, I'm in better shape than a lot of you are, who are half my age. And I am going to ascend, and I know it. And I know exactly how it's going to happen. Do you? So, as you continue on, you begin to reach a point where you are now comfortable in your own skin. One of the problems I found with humanity is most of us are not comfortable in our own skin. Home is where you live, not where you want to go. You get that? Home is where you live, not where you want to go. If you don't like your body, it sure as hell ain't going to like you. And if you don't express the love for the body ain't going to express no love for you. So, now you're achieving the union of one. What is the next big dramatic thing that happens? The energy field, the aura, whatever you call that, an electromagnetic energy field surrounding you, creates, look, you got to get this part, okay? It creates what I call a unified field. A unified field is complete balance of masculine and feminine energy, ebbing and flowing through the whole of the chakra system, especially the heart center and the energy field. Here's another piece that's very important. Heart center awakening and the continued evolution of the heart center chakra cannot happen unless you have an equal amount, and this is not going to sit well with some feminists, an equal amount of masculine and feminine energy. There are a lot of people out there who promote that this is a time of the divine feminine. That's bullshit. It is the time of divine duality, period. And you have to have the duality of masculine and feminine in equal amounts, and that's what we're doing. We're equalizing. That's why you see all the disparities you see going on with men and women right now, because there's a lot of imbalances still. And a lot of it still exists in the spiritual community, and a lot of it still exists in the twin flame community. I can assure you of that. I see it every day. So, once you achieve that unified field, here's something else that's very important. It doesn't have to be perfect. Reasonably close will do. And at that point, when you reach that spiritual maturity, you're in a situation where you absolutely know you don't really need anyone in your life to complete you. You can do it by yourself. So you're actually free. You now have what's called free will. Before that, you only thought you had free will. Now you have free will. Are you following me on this? And a lot of people are going to say, what the hell is he talking about? When you get to unified field, you got free will. Anything before that is not free will. It's control, manipulation, in many different forms. That's what it is. Plain and simple. You can argue with me? Don't matter. I know I'm right. It's that simple. So when you have that unified field and you have freedom of choice, freedom of will, and you have creative abilities that can manifest, at that point you have the option of deciding, do I want, do I choose to have a partner in my world? You do not say, I need. Do I choose? Do I desire? Do I want? You do not need. As long as you need, at any level, down you come, because you're still codependent. Don't matter how you argue and say, no, I'm not codependent on anybody. As long as you believe within you, you need someone to complete you and make you feel love, you're codependent. You're addicted to love in its very primitive form that we have in physical reality right now. That's what it is. The belief systems we have about love are primitive, very primitive, and they're limited. So now you have free will. Then you have the choice. So what is it? Is it relationship first and then union? Absolutely not. It's union first, then union of one. Then it can manifest as a relationship, and the relationship will be different because it's encompassed, created, and manifested not through the old templates of relationship. Now you think about this for a second. You're in a unified field. You don't need anyone. You have the free will to choose, desire, or want someone. Ask yourself that question. Do you have a twin flame relationship and then go into union? No, it's not the right answer. You have union, and that union of desiring or wanting a partner will manifest a relationship in physical reality. And that, by any means, is the truth. And I don't give a fiddler's fart who says otherwise. Because on this one, I know I'm bang on. And so do most of you. Have a great day, everybody. And if you only knew how much I really love all of you, pow, big time. Take care.